I remember that horrible day back in 2014. A friend of mine had sent a screenshot to our group message that EA Sports had no longer planned to keep creating the NCAA football franchise series amidst a ton of lawsuits and a ton of allegations for using player likeness. And that right there was like my childhood gone. Me and my buddies all throughout middle school, even in high school, literally would come home every single day from school and play online dynasties all day until we went to sleep. That was our childhood. It's been a long 7 years and a lot of us haven't given up. Millions of people out there still play the NCAA Football 14 game, a game that's almost a decade old. They still play to today religiously for the simple love of college football. Who cares about the outdated graphics? The fan base is still out there, as our love of college football is just too strong to give it up. It's been a long 7 years, but I can finally say today, boys, I'm so happy! It's finally coming back! No more mods, no more clickbait, no more hoping that one day it's just gonna be coming back. Yes, dudes, today EA Sports has announced the comeback for NCAA football. I woke up today to immediately check my phone and had a text message from my graphics designer with this tweet. Hey boys, EA Sports college football is coming back, dude. Look, we've gone through a bad few years. 2020 awful. 2021's got off to maybe even a worse start than what 2020 had the entire year. But this bit of news right here is probably the best news we have gotten in general in terms of life itself since 2020 began. Dudes, it's actually happening. It's actually freaking happening. I'm so happy. A lot of information to be unpacked here, and if you guys want to see me upload a wish list video for the new college football game, let me know by dropping a huge thumbs up. And if we can, let's do 10,000 likes. If we can hit 10,000 likes in this video, you'll see that wish list on the channel on Thursday. I honestly can't believe it. I thought this day would never come, but it did. And guys, really quick, if we can make it to 800k subscribers by the end of February, we're going to be giving away another next-gen console to one of my subscribers that are subscribed and have on notifications. So make sure to take that millisecond to click that subscription button if you haven't, so you can have a chance to win a free console. 800k by the end of February. Let's make it happen. Now time to shut up and get back into the video. Actually, technically, I did know this day was going to come. I predicted it back in 2019. NCAA football video games will return in 2 years. Book it. Let me just tell you, dudes, I'm built different. But so much to unpack here. Just out of nowhere, EA Sports created this account, and their EA Sports official account, if we go there really quick, they broke the freaking internet. This tweet has 140,000 retweets, 205,000 likes in only 7 hours. That just shows you how many people are excited for this. And apparently, I don't know why they're not using their old NCAA football accounts. I'm pretty sure that's still an account, unless they could have possibly deleted it, because they're apparently going under a new branding and it's no longer called NCAA football. It's just called EA Sports College Football. They made a brand new Twitter account, EA Sports College. How funny would this be if this was like anonymous that hacked their Twitter account and this isn't really real? But I don't think that's the case. If it is, that would just, that would honestly go aligned with everything that's happened in this world the past 2 years. Now to unpack some important information surrounding this announcement. Like, when's this game gonna come out? Was it gonna be? Like, what's actually happening here? We have so many questions that we've been pondering even before this announcement. Like, if the fact it would ever even come out, how's the game actually going to be? When's it going to come out? Here we finally get some good answers. So obviously we know it's coming back. EA Sports is coming back to college football. After last making college football game in 2013, blah, 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 they've wanted it to come back because it makes some money. You don't care. I don't care. Like, just you make your money, give us a college football game. You know what I'm saying? And we've heard some interviews in the past few years from like higher ups in EA talking about how they want the game to come back, but it's just about like getting the go-ahead, like legally, because there's so many lawsuits. And we've seen some things over the past few years, like them saying that players eventually are, I don't remember what year it is, but they're finally going to be able to get paid for the likeness. And that right there is why I had tweeted that tweet back in 2019, because that's a big reason why the game got disbanded in the first place. Now that we're actually moving in that direction where athletes can finally get paid for their name, I thought that's, you know, the perfect chance for this game to come back. And like the amount of hype that's going to be around this release whenever it does get dropped after being gone for 10 years, this is literally going to break the sports gaming world. Like, dude, who's going to play Madden anymore? Like, for me specifically, I never played Madden growing up. I just played NCAA football religiously. That was the only sports game I ever freaking played growing up. I played some baseball games too, but just NCAA football games. And like most of us had to just like stick with Madden if we wanted any football game over like the past 10 years. Getting into the important information here. It will at some point come back. Holt said there's not a date, on when the game will return or even a date when the return will be announced, other than it won't be coming back for this year. So obviously I wouldn't expect them to like announce it today and just starting development. It's gonna take a little while, but just the fact that we actually know it's coming back, that's a huge freaking W. Now this is where more important information comes apart. To make the game happen, EA Sports partnered with collegiate licensing company CLC to make sure it has the FPS schools, traditions, uniforms, and playbooks, among other things, ready to go for the game. Over 100 teams will be in the game. I believe there's roughly 130 FPS teams, Division 1 FPS teams in college football, and they will all be in the game. Now, a lot of people were worried because they're no longer like branding it NCAA football, that like they're not going to have the NCAA licensing. Well, they have like the licensing here, right here, proven that they're going to have real schools in the game. A lot of people were worried those just going to be like generic schools, like just you had to create every school. No, they're actually going to have the licensing for every single FPS school in this game. Let's go! Now, for now, EA Sports is planning to move forward without rosters that include the names, images, or likenesses of real college players. Current NCAA rules prohibit athletes from selling their NIL rights while in college. But this is the big point here. However, those rules are likely to be changed at some point in the coming year by the NCAA, state legislatures, or Congress. It's not clear yet whether the evolving rules will allow for the kind of group licensing arrangements that will be needed for EA Sports to negotiate with athletes to use their names in the game. And another little promising bit here, after EA Sports' announcement, Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut issued a statement saying he would introduce legislation to help players finally profit off their talent so they don't need to face continued mistreatment like this. And they said that EA Sports is going to monitor this. They don't know what's going to happen yet, but they're going to keep it in consideration. But the thing is, dudes, this is huge. You know, in the past, they never had actual real player names. They kind of had like, I mean, it was the players, like would have their position and their number, and it would be their same height and weight. That's why it ended up all these lawsuits and everything. So as of right now, it's not going to use the player likenesses. But I think with how things are going, I think by the time this game comes out, there will be legislation put into place where the players will be able to profit off their name. I think it's so stupid that I right now could go out, sign my autograph, and I can, for money, if people wanted to buy my autograph, but yet a college athlete can't. I think that's so stupid. Like, obviously, I don't think they should get paid to play at schools. Like, I don't think, like, Alabama should pay players $100,000 a year to play there. But if an Alabama fan wants to pay $50 for an autograph for an Alabama player, like, that's just stupid. They're restricted. And what this would be, literally, to get the player's likeness, just like in like a Madden game or like a FIFA game or NBA 2K, there would be an agreement, and basically like the players would probably get like $4,000 or $5,000 for having their player name and their face and everything in the game. And that's not the case right now. Like, even if that ended up not being the case 2 or 3 years down the line when the game's released, even if it was like the old NCAA games where we just had to make the rosters ourselves, as long as we had the schools and everything for a college football game in place, we can make the freaking rosters. Made it happen before, we'll make it happen again. Now, if I'm gonna make a prediction once again, I think by the time this game comes out, like, they don't have to go into this trying to, you know, in the development of the game, have the player's likeness. No, like, they'll be able to make the rosters in a few months, I would think. So I, specifically, if I was to make a prediction, maybe it's a little optimistic, but I think by the time this game's released, we'll be able to actually have the real college athletes in the game, their names, likeness, all of that. But I guess for right now, because of legal reasons, I can't go into this initial announcement saying, yeah, we're gonna have players in the game. No, they can't right now, but I think by the time, like I said, the game's released, I would say like a 75% chance we'll actually have the real players in the game. So we make sure we deliver that what our college football game players would want in a game. And that starts with just a very immersive experience. There's lots of things we can do to bring the true college gameplay and game day to the virtual world. Holt said EA Sports is still in the very beginning of the process of game development, building out the team and deciding what direction it wants the game to go in. Conversations about bringing back the game began over a year ago, and the combination of momentum of the company combined with the technology it has seen on next-gen platforms such as the Sony PS5 and Xbox Series X further bolstered its decision to return to the space. One change from the prior iterations of the game for now will be the name of the game. In previous iterations of the game from 1997 until 2014, the title NCAA Football was used along with the year. Before that, it was College Football USA for 2 years, and in the first 2 years of the game, it was Bill Walsh College Football. And it says the plan for the reboot will be to not have the NCAA name, but use simply EA Sports College Football. EA Sports College Football gives us a name and a brand to kind of work around for some things that might evolve, as well as what we're focusing on really out of the gate, which is really the FBS Division I schools and the road to the college football playoff and college football championships. So right then and there, like, who cares what it's called as long as all the college football teams are in the game, they have the college football playoff, college football national championship, all that greatness. I think if you don't have a college football game with all of the FBS schools, like there's 130 of them, like that's college football, dude. Like you've got to have all of them, even the little guy. And what we see right here, pretty much that confirms that that is the case. That's a massive dub. So EA Sports College Football, we just felt is the right name for the product for not only now, but as we move forward. The game, whenever it returns, will be the first college football title since NCAA 14. Now, as we said, we don't know when the game's going to come out, but to give you guys a little, unfortunately, a little tidbit, as you see on their Twitter account, says right here, we're blown away by your passion for EA Sports College Football. We look forward to sharing more information as development progresses in the next couple years. Now that is a stinker. So you guys see that? It's probably going to be a couple years until we actually get the game. But it's still going to be a while, as they're just starting to make the game now, starting to develop. It's just now in the initial stages. For a game like this, I mean, it's been 7 years since they created this title, so there's so much stuff that's got to go into creating this game, probably from scratch. Because they skipped an entire generation of consoles, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It's going straight from Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 to freaking PS5 and Xbox Series X. So I'm sure there's so much technical stuff that we can't comprehend that they got to get going. And if we're being honest, like obviously we want this back ASAP. But with how great this game was in the past, we don't want them to make this come out in like a couple months, in a year, and it sucks. We want the college football experience at that, how we experienced it back in NCAA Football 14, because there's a reason why people still play that game 7 years from the time it was released, even with not so great graphics, because obviously today's graphics is better, but there's a reason, because that game was so immersive. It was so incredible. Like, it literally blows Madden. Like, it's not even debatable. It's not even freaking close. You shouldn't even use Madden and NCAA football in the same freaking sentence. That's just blasphemy. Now, I just really hope they go the right route here. If I'm EA Sports, I just take what we left off in NCAA Football 14, improve from the structure we had there, take it into the next generation of consoles, and don't do anything too crazy. Don't make any huge changes. I'm pretty sure everybody wouldn't be opposed to them just releasing a revamped version of that game on next-gen consoles with better graphics and just a few tweaks here and there. They don't have to do anything crazy. Just bring back the experiences that we had before, because those experiences are so much more in-depth and diverse than what we have today in freaking Madden. If they can just put the right team of people together and spend this next year or so in initial development, like actually doing what we want, I have a feeling there is going to be an Ultimate Team game mode, because I do think people forget that there was an Ultimate Team game mode back in NCAA Football 14. It wasn't really a huge cash grab like it was now, but there was an Ultimate Team game mode. With it being EA, yeah, there'll probably be an Ultimate Team game mode, but I'm really hoping they keep that completely separate and don't use that Ultimate Team game mode to take away from anything that comes with the Dynasty, with the Road to Glories, anything like that. If like there's no online Dynasties in this game mode, I'm gonna freaking riot. If I wait 7 goddamn years, I guess at this point maybe 10 years for an NCAA game, there's not an online Dynasty, I am fighting EA Sports with my foot. I am scissor kicking them, and I don't care that I don't know how to scissor kick. I'm gonna learn and do it. But like I said, guys, so much coming out today. I'm so happy. Are you happy? Because I'm freaking happy. Like I said, 10,000 likes. My NCAA football, or I guess EA Sports College Football video game wish list Thursday, 10,000 likes. Let's make it happen. At least we can go to bed today with something positive actually happening in this world.